it's Paige from Minerva, and today we're going to be looking at trends and inspiration for statement colours and how to add interest around necklines. So I've picked out some patterns for shirts, dresses and waistcoats, and I'm going to be walking you through the trends of adding embellishments to your collars and necklines, and also how to add a lease of life to your existing wardrobe items. So we'll be looking at sewing patterns, a range of Minerva fabrics, as well as trims such as rickrack, pearls and lace, all the things that you need for this trend of statement collars and embellished necklines. So if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and everything I mention will be in the description box below. So yeah, let's get started. So let's start off with sewing patterns. Hot topic at the moment is the waistcoat trend, and that is the Simplicity 9689. It's a beautiful waistcoat, very classic silhouette. I absolutely love the waistcoat trend for layering. It's a lovely detail and addition to an outfit, or you can wear it on its own with a pair of smart trousers. And there's some really fun ways to add detail to a waistcoat. This one doesn't have a collar, but obviously you've got that beautiful V-neck shape. So you could add things like rickrack to the edge of it. You could add pearl trim. You can insert something into the actual seam itself. So I thought it was a really good way to touch on the waistcoat trend, but also how you can add interest to the waistcoat to make it a little bit more unique. Next up is another Simplicity pattern, and that is the 9448. Now this is actually referred to as the Dicky Set. So if you're not sure what a Dicky is, it's actually a kind of faux collar that you can wear underneath sweatshirts, jumpers, cardigans, dresses, that kind of thing. It's a layering piece so that you can create interest with a collar without it needing to be attached to the garment. So it's a really cool way of inserting this trend into your wardrobe without having to make a full garment. And I absolutely love this pattern because there's several options to choose from within the pattern. There's different fun collars, there's details, and all of these can also be adapted. So think adding lace to the collars, adding pearls, like that kind of thing. The trend is also adored by Harry Styles. I've seen some really gorgeous collars that he has been wearing, things like pearls around the neckline and lace details. So think Harry Styles. And I think this would be a really good way of incorporating that kind of style into your wardrobe. This trend is definitely like cottagecore kind of vibes. If you're not sure on the term cottagecore, then definitely have a look at different cottagecore kind of styles. I'll insert a few picture inspirations that I found, and just think, you know, oversized, drama, romantic. They're kind of the keywords that come with cottagecore, and then collars are kind of a big part of that. So yeah, it's just very romantic and beautiful in its detail. The next pattern is the Liberty London, and it's the Conno collared shirt. This is a very classic staple shirt. It's very kind of boxy in its fit, and it's available as a unisex pattern. So it's a really, really lovely pattern. And again, because of its simple collar and structure, it would be good for modification as well. So you could increase the size of the collar, or you could take the collar itself and add in like lace trim into the seam, so you can get like a really nice detail. I'll add a little picture here of that process that I actually did for another sewing project that I made, where I added rickrack actually into the seam, and then when you turn the collar out, it created a really gorgeous kind of scallop detail to the collar. And similar to this one here as well, I'll come a little bit closer. This was a Minerva project that I put up on my Minerva profile, so I'll make sure to leave that linked below so you can go and check it out in more detail. But as you can see, the lace is actually inserted into the seam so that you get this really beautiful sort of edge detail. The Liberty London pattern would be great for that, to add that extra interest and detail into the colour itself. Next pattern is actually the one that I'm wearing, and it is the Friday Pattern Company patina blouse. I absolutely love this pattern. I've made it a few times now, and it's a great pattern as a kind of blouse in itself. It's got the option for a higher neckline or a lower neckline. It also has the option for short or long sleeves with a lovely placket detail and gathered kind of in at the cuff. So there's a couple of different ways that you could make this pattern, and I also love the fact that it's easy to adapt, like I've mentioned with the other ones. And this one I have actually adapted to make it sleeveless and crop, so it's kind of just hitting the top of my hip, And then also the collar, I added about 1.5 inches all the way around the collar to create this kind of dramatic big collar, which is a definite trend at the moment, to have this kind of oversized dramatic size of collar. So this pattern is great for that. And I actually did a project on the Friday Pattern Company website on the blog, so you can go and check that out if you'd like to make this for yourself. And then obviously the little lace trim as well is a lovely little detail. The next pattern is another Friday pattern, and that is the sagebrush top. Now this one doesn't have a collar, but it does have a really beautiful top yoke, which is a great way to add detailing. If you're not a fan of collars, then another way that you can add interest around the neckline is with things like embroidery or pearl details, that kind of thing. So that would be a really good place to be able to put it. So you could add embroidery or something like that to the top there. Also, because it has that little lovely little ruffle detail, another way that you could add interest with lace trims and things like that is to actually insert lace or some kind of trim on that seam there. Instead of the ruffle, which comes with the pattern, you could add a little bit of lace in there instead, and that would be a really nice detail. The next pattern is the Tilly and the Buttons Marnie. This comes as a top or a dress and is very similar to the sagebrush in the sense that it has that lovely yoke detail and it doesn't have a collar. That is a really lovely part of the pattern that you could add interest to. And Tilly and the Buttons actually did a tutorial on how to add some embroidery details to that yoke, similar to what I did here with this little pocket, just using some hand stitching to add detailing. And then also, like I mentioned, you could do some trims on there. Maybe you could do rows of rickrack. I've seen lots of lovely inspiration online for using rickrack on your makes, whether it be sort of ombre rickrack or just on that kind of yoke or neckline detail. I'll insert a couple of pictures here of things that I've seen with rickrack on them so you can see how fun it is to add that kind of detail to your projects, and the Marnie would be a really great pattern for that. The next pattern is another Tilly pattern, and it is the Lyra Dress. I made this at the beginning of the year and I absolutely love this pattern. It's a really beautiful dress pattern and it has a really kind of dainty collar to it and little button up detail. It's a gorgeous pattern and I feel like there's a lot of ways that you could add interest to the collar itself to give it a bit more oomph. So thinking of beads and trims and that kind of thing again, but also because of the button up, you could really create some gorgeous interest there and give it that really cute cottagecore vibe, maybe with some flower buttons or something like that. The next pattern I wanted to mention is the Friday Pattern Company Wilder gown. It has a really gorgeous pussy bow style of tie up at the top on the neckline, and it kind of ruches in to create a really gorgeous kind of gathered effect. It's a really gorgeous style. I love that pussy bow sort of style, and you can see people like Princess Kate's wearing this kind of style. I'll insert a picture here. It looks absolutely beautiful in it, which then leads me on to our fabrics that I wanted to demonstrate in this video. So showing you the lovely top that Kate is wearing, I've got this really gorgeous green satin that would work really, really well for this kind of style of top. This is the emerald green satin. I'll do a closer look for you as well. My camera is showing it a little bit lighter than it is. It's a lovely rich green colour, and this kind of colour is really, really popular and on trend at the moment, especially for autumn winter, and I think this would make a really gorgeous pussy bow sort of top like Kate's. And because of the bow detailing, you're adding interest to a garment without adding sort of trims and things like that, but how beautiful would that be in this fabric? Also to note, the fabrics that I'm going to show you, there's lots of different colourways as well. So if you click on the link in the description box to head over to this fabric, you'll see all the different colours that are available as well. So if green isn't your colour, but you're thinking the pussy bow blouse sort of thing might be for you, then go and check out all the other colours as well, because I think it would be really, really lovely to have a bold, bright coloured pussy bow sort of dress or blouse for this season. Sticking with celebrity inspiration, obviously I touched on Harry Styles earlier, and he's such an icon when it comes to trends and styling and just fashion in general. And he has some really gorgeous kind of shirts and dramatic collars within his kind of repertoire. And I really love this picture of him wearing this kind of candy blue, beautiful, crisp shirt. Now I've got this fabric, which is a cotton in the shade Candy Blue. It's a cotton poplin, and I'll do a little closer up look for you. It's a really gorgeous kind of classic cotton, would make a really beautiful kind of crisp shirt. using like the Liberty London pattern or the Friday Pattern Company patina blouse, you could create something really beautiful in this candy blue colour. This fabric that I'm wearing is actually the same cotton, so you can kind of see how it hangs and it sits. It's really, really lovely and stable, so it gives your shirt a nice structure to it. And because of Harry Styles and his kind of crisp, kind of pointy collars, you want to add that drama. Think of looking at patterns that have that nice point to the end of your collar, and you could extend that even further. You could add the pearls around the neck, and I just think it would add that really gorgeous kind of classic, elegant sort of look to your blouse or your shirt. The next fabric is this really beautiful pastel pink gingham. I have seen so many beautiful gingham dresses and shirts with that kind of big collar and all different kind of shades of gingham. Obviously pastel pink is a little bit more spring summer, but it would be lovely all year round, especially if it was like a long sleeve patina blouse with the cuff or something like that. I think this would work really well. Or even the Tilly Buttons Marnie with some sort of added floral embroidery to the neckline or something like that. And I think that is a really cute fabric. I'll do a little closer up for you as well. There's different colorways available, but this is the pastel pink, and just imagine this with some really gorgeous kind of ric-rac trim around that massive oversized collar. It would just be a really gorgeous way to add the trend into your wardrobe. Also worth mentioning that there's lots of different colorways for the ric-rac as well, so that will be linked in the description box for you below. I've also got this really lovely orange one to show you, which would be perfect for pumpkin spice season. Just another fabric that would work really well for that kind of cottagecore style of blouse or shirt would be this really cute floral fabric that I have. This is a polyester blend and it's really nice. It's kind of got a good amount of structure to it, so it's not too drapey, but it's also fairly semi sheer. So it would be great for a shirt or a blouse, and it'd be really cute to make something in this sort of dainty floral. There's also different colorways as well of this one. I'll also insert some inspiration on the side here so you can kind of see some inspiration for floral shirts and blouses. There's obviously a lot that you can do with florals, and it's always a nice way to kind of add a sort of feminine touch to your makes. I've got these really beautiful Stephanois lace trims which would work really well with that kind of floral fabric. There's a couple of shades here to show you, but again these are available in different colorways, but they would be really gorgeous sort of sewn into a collar similar to this one. You can kind of see when it's sewn into the seam how that would look. These would be a really lovely lace trim to be able to do that, so they'll be linked below as well. Two more fabrics to show you, and they're both in the same family, so I thought I'd show you them together. This is a polyester suiting fabric. Lots of colours for this available, and absolutely perfect for the waistcoat trend. So if you liked the waistcoat pattern from Simplicity, then this would be a really great fabric for you. And I believe Tammy Handmade actually made one in a light grey recently, so I'll leave a little picture of Tammy's here that you can see for inspiration. But how lovely would this light grey be as a waistcoat, and such a staple piece in your wardrobe. You could wear again and again, and you could add a really lovely chunky ric-rac in a white or something like that to kind of keep that kind of classic look about it, but add that interest without it being too garish. If you're not really a details kind of person, then maybe you could go for something a little bit more subtle with a white or a black or something like that, so that it's kind of a bit more monochromatic. But yeah, I really like this chunky ric-rac. I think that would be a really great way to add interest without it being, you know, too bright and colourful if that's not your thing. There's also some really beautiful matching sets in pastel shades, so I'll leave a picture here that I loved of this pink waistcoat. You could use this Candy Floss Pink, which is what it's called. I think that's such a cute name for this, as the waistcoat as well, and I just think that would work really well. The last trim that I wanted to show you is this really kind of luxurious trim. This is a rayon braid, and I've got a dark green version here. So for example, that you could make something in the satin, like that green satin, and you could add some detailing around your necklines or your collars with this, and it would give it a really kind of luxurious feel, maybe for like
a evening dress or evening shirt or blouse, that would be really, really nice. There's also this lovely fun colourway of that chunky rickrack. I absolutely love this and I just cannot wait to add this to something that I own. But how cool is this kind of sunshine yellow? So if you are more of a colour fan and you want to add a pop of colour and drama and interest to your makes with something fun and bright like this yellow, then yeah, I think this is a bit more me. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you enjoyed me talking through the trend of statement collars and embellished necklines. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the Minerva channel, give this video a thumbs up, and if you'd like to watch more of my videos, you can find me at Paige Joanna. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!